excellence in PC graphics.
A good Monday morning. Welcome to AM Weather. I'm Wayne Winston.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Carl Weiss, and the weather appears to be getting a jump on spring. We'll take a look at what's going on with a look at the jet stream over the western hemisphere and what it shows. First up, northwest winds over the northern plains and upper Midwest. This usually means the incursion of Arctic air. This time, however, the wind flow has its origins over the northern part of the Pacific Ocean, and this will lead to seasonable temperatures across the United States at worst. The subtropical jet stream helping to keep the cloud cover over the southern half of the Gulf of Mexico. Putting these clouds into motion, the twist in the clouds over the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes is a developing low-pressure system that brought some scattered light precipitation to the area Sunday. The large-scale flow pattern is set up with a trough in the east and a large high-pressure ridge out over the west. More stormy weather over the Pacific will work its way into the west later in the week. Next up, a little closer to home, our U.S. sequence of pictures starts at 3 o'clock Sunday morning, and the weak weather disturbance moving eastward across portions of the Tennessee Valley and the southeast brought some showers and even a few thunderstorms to the area. Thunderstorms dumped some small hail at Huntsville, Alabama, and also at Athens, North Carolina. Farther north, in association with the main storm over the Great Lakes, the precipitation is more widespread, with some light snow having fallen over the Great Lakes states on Sunday, and late Sunday, some light snow even lingered over northern Maine. The upper lakes and northern parts of New England had cool weather yesterday with high temperatures in the 30s, even some 20s over far northern Maine. Mild weather dominated the west as 60s were found as far north as Oregon and Montana. And a high temperature record was set at Billings, Montana yesterday at 65 degrees. Bakersfield, California tied their high temperature record for the date at 83. Next up, we'll take a look at our early morning radar summary, put the echoes in motion for you, and you get the sense of the low-pressure system circulation over the Great Lakes, the counterclockwise twist in the echoes we see over the northeast. A mixture of rain and snow over the Great Lakes with tops over southwest lower Michigan up to 13,000 feet. Rain and snow mixed also in the Pittsburgh area, tops there to 9,000 feet. Some rain showers spreading into western parts of New England, all this moving off to the northeast, and some rain showers over southern Kentucky, tops there to 20,000 feet. Dry weather across the deep south and more dry weather extending into the far west. Next, we'll look at our early morning national map, a fairly tranquil early March weather pattern for the country. The double-barrel low-pressure system over the Great Lakes is spreading some light and widely scattered precipitation generally over the northeastern quarter of the nation. Snow flurries are falling mainly around the lakes, rain showers through the Appalachians, and some of this rain is mixing with snow over the higher mountains of southwestern Pennsylvania and into West Virginia. The big storm over the Canadian Maritimes still bringing some snow to parts of Newfoundland. A few showers also found over the Bahamas early on this Monday. At daybreak, fog is scattered along the Gulf Coast. Visibilities are as low as 1/8 mile at Milton, Florida. This wavy weather front basically dry as it works its way into the northern Rockies, and with high pressure dominating the weather picture in the far west, fog is formed once again under light winds. Visibilities are as low as 1/16 of a mile at Los Angeles and also at Boise, Idaho, and visibilities down to 1/8 of a mile at Pendleton, Oregon. Temperature extremes around the lower 48 states this morning at 6 o'clock Eastern Time range from 69 degrees at Key West, Florida, to 1. That's the cold weather shared at Gunnison, Colorado, and also at Holton, Maine. Wayne?
Well, over the next couple of days, we don't have any major storm systems in the offing. Let's take a look at our map for later on today, and we'll see that area of low pressure that's moving through the lakes, approaching the east coast. May have a few showers here out ahead of the cold front down to around Chesapeake Bay and up towards Nova Scotia.
Yeah, in the distance over there, also Staten Island, just a great view. Today certainly wasn't a bad day. We got into the mid-50s today, surprisingly warm, and we certainly weren't alone. Most places were very mild today. Check out some of the high temperatures. Other than our 56-degree reading, D.C. got up to 60 degrees, 67 down in Charlotte. Notice to our west, a little bit cooler air, 36 with snow today in Buffalo, 39 in Cleveland, and that's the cooler air that's going to gradually be sliding our way. But still, even tomorrow, we should make the mid-40s. Our high temperature today of 56 was well above average. The low this morning only got down to 40 degrees. A trace, just a few sprinkles later in the afternoon hours today. Record high 76, record low was 8 degrees above zero. Right now outside we have partly cloudy skies, 44 degrees, winds out of the west at 8, but there is a little bit of a nip in the air, I can attest to that. and the barometric pressure is rising from 29.69 inches. All right, let's check out our satellite view. You can see a pretty good storm system spinning away across the upstate area, and that's causing some rain and some snow upstate, but nothing around here. We're just seeing a few sprinkles and flurries. Notice clouds back to our west, though, across the Great Lakes. So I definitely think we're going to see more clouds than sun during the day tomorrow, and you can certainly see that on our surface map for tomorrow. Notice that storm system back across the northern plains. That's going to head our way, and by late in the day Wednesday into early Thursday, maybe a little bit of light rain or even some wet snow. But the upper air pattern on Friday is going to turn stormy, and that's the system we're going to watch. Now, if you have any plans this weekend, you're going to want to stay tuned because this is a doozy of a storm system. That's not going to happen, though, until about Saturday. Our forecast overnight does call for mostly cloudy skies, a slight chance that we'll see a sprinkle or flurry. Lows about 36 in the city, down into the upper 20s once you get well inland, and even out on Long Island, temperatures getting below freezing. Tomorrow, a few peaks at the sun. I think we'll see more clouds than sun, but at least a few glimmers of sunshine. Breezy and cooler than today, but still a high of 42 to 47. 5-day outlook calls for that mixed precip tomorrow night or Wednesday night into early Thursday, then quiet until about Saturday. So that's how it looks for now. No major problems in our forecast until maybe Saturday. So I'm going to enjoy the view a little bit longer out here and then head back in. John?
A little warm for you out there, isn't it? You're not usually outside unless it's like 2.
With a scarf on.
Well, yeah, it's
no
not
gloves,
that
no
bad.
hat.
It's not that bad.
That's what I'm saying. It's too warm for you out there.
Too warm.
Let
for
him
me.
enjoy.
Not too warm for me.
All right, thanks very much, Phil. Carl.
Manufacturer of state-of-the-art graphics boards. Excellence in PC graphics.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AM Weather. I'm Joan Von On.
And morning, I'm Wayne Winston. I've got a couple of low-pressure systems moving across North America this morning, producing what is mostly light to some occasionally moderate precipitation. We'll look at all that. We'll start off high up in the atmosphere, up around our jet stream level, and what we see is a pretty strong west-east flow across the country with somewhat of a northwesterly component here that has brought one front into the northeastern part of the country and promises to bring some more cold air into the eastern half of the country here as the week progresses. We'll put those clouds into motion. Well, there's quite a bit of clouds, although it's high-altitude clouds over Florida yesterday, not producing any precipitation. We've got one low-pressure area that's moved from the lakes to the northeast, another that has moved across the northwest and the northern Rockies to the northern plains this morning, a third low-pressure area, rather disorganized, sitting off the California coast, and yet a fourth one out in the North Pacific, south of the Aleutian Islands. We'll close in on North America during the past 24 hours. Our low-pressure area moves from the lakes and into the northeastern part of the country with a trailing cold front, which has dropped temperatures just a little bit. And as it moved eastward, it produced some rain and snow showers, even a little bit of sleet and thunder during the day yesterday as it moved through the Appalachians. Temperatures weren't bad, though. You could find high readings in the 40s yesterday afternoon as far north as parts of Maine. Cloudy skies, some scattered light precipitation, rain, snow, sometimes some sleet back into parts of the Midwest and into Michigan's Upper Peninsula yesterday as cooler air moved on into the southeast. Temperatures above normal in the northern plains yesterday afternoon, readings in the 40s to around 50 degrees in spite of the cooler air moving in. Farther to the south, very warm indeed. Wichita Falls, Texas had a record-breaking 85 yesterday afternoon. It was in the high 80s in parts of South Texas. Windy conditions along the east slopes of the Rockies from Montana to Colorado yesterday, and some of that has continued in the nighttime hours. 50s to around 60 degrees found in parts of Montana. A few snow showers in the northern Rockies, 50s and 60s yesterday in the northwest, as high clouds in advance of that Pacific storm move into California. Well, looking at this morning's radar, precipitation tends to be rather spotty across the eastern half of the country this morning. Both rain and snow showing up in the east. We've got some snow up around Augusta and Portland, Maine this morning, down through Pittsburgh and Elkins, West Virginia. Yet Charleston, West Virginia has rain this morning instead of the snow, and it's a mix of rain and snow up around Concord, New Hampshire. As we head across the upper Midwest and into the northern plains. There are some areas of light snow out here as the low pressure area moves out of the northern Rockies and into the northern plains. Let's look at this morning's national map next, and we see the low pressure area in the northeastern part of the country with the rain and snow we were talking about. Some snow at Toledo, Ohio, and up towards Grand Rapids, Muskegon, Michigan. And then we have a high pressure area here sitting over the Midwest with its center on in Iowa this morning. Down around the Gulf Coast, some areas of fog this morning, including parts of the Texas coast. As we move out into the Rocky Mountain states, still some gusty winds at Laramie, Wyoming at 4 a.m. as high as 38 miles per hour near this frontal system. You can see this is an elongated, double-barreled kind of low-pressure area, which will be dropping southeastward and into the upper Midwest during the course of the day today. In the far west, some foggy conditions around Ogden, Utah. Their visibility down to just a couple of hundred feet, quite foggy around Provo, Utah as well. We've got some fog through California. That has dropped the visibility at Los Angeles down to 1/8 of a mile. And as we head to the north, a little bit of snow here up in the Montana Rockies and up into parts of British Columbia. Now, our temperature extremes at 6 a.m. Eastern, 5 Central Time ranged from 68 at Key West, Florida, to just 1 above zero at Gunnison, Colorado. Joan?
Now that we've brought us up to date on the weather conditions across
This system that's heading our way tomorrow, Cora, and actually we're watching two systems. The first one is going to come here probably tomorrow afternoon, sort of a slushy mix of wet snow and rain, but maybe enough to slicken up the roads, especially once you get inland. Now today, certainly a winter. We had a high temperature of 48 degrees. That certainly was pleasant. The low is our current temperature of 38. No precip today, and we did get to see a reasonable amount of sunshine during the afternoon. Record high is 66. Record low is 14 degrees above zero. Currently outside, we have clear skies, 38 degrees, winds out of the west at 10 miles per hour, and barometric pressure is rising from 30.03 inches. The storm system I'm talking about right now is heading across the northern plains into Minnesota. This is the area that's now getting some snow. Wisconsin into Chicago. It's starting to snow now in Chicago. All of this is heading our way. I think the wet snow rain mixture will probably start after 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon and continue through at least the first part of tomorrow night. Now in the immediate city area, I think maybe a slushy inch is just about it. That will include areas like Middletown, say New Brunswick, Piscataway, and even up toward White Plains. Once you get up toward White Plains, maybe 1 to 3 inches of slushy snow. And also like, say, Paramus could possibly see 1 to 3 inches. Once you get farther north past Nyack and up toward Newburgh, this is the area that could see 3 to 6 inches of snow. So the farther north and west you go from the city, the more snow you're going to see during the day tomorrow. Here comes that system as it moves eastward, spreading the snow in here by early afternoon. Could be mixed with rain, especially once you get to the south of the city. Then it's quiet through the midsection of the country, and that's the weather we should get to enjoy by Thursday and Friday. But temperatures should average below normal throughout the week and into the weekend. Forecast for the overnight area hours, clear, chilly, low about 29, cooler than that once you get inland. Then during the day tomorrow, increasing clouds, rain, wet snow mixture arriving by afternoon, highs of 37 to 42. Looking ahead, next 5 days, after that mess in here tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night, things should dry out nicely for Thursday and Friday, and then a bigger storm could be heading our way with maybe some significant snow, at least a possibility for Saturday and Sunday. So we'll certainly keep a close eye on that system. Tomorrow's system, more of a nuisance. John?
All righty, thank you, sir. Carl is up next with sports for you.
Ranger fans, chins up. The whole gang's back together.
Take a look and show you what we've got for you, at least tonight. Looking down Fifth Avenue toward the Crown Building, you can see right now, things kind of dry, clear skies, 38 degrees. Our winds at this hour are coming out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Relative humidity, 54%, and the barometer is steady. And on the satellite picture, a lot of cloudiness on top of us. We've got a system getting ready to push on through here, show you just where it is. Big area of high pressure over the mid-Atlantic states. Winds right now are coming out of the northwest. Now, as we take a look, you show you a big area of high pressure. Low pressure system coming out of the Great Lakes, going to be scooting across the northern Ohio Valley. We look for rain to develop, thickening clouds during the day, rain along the coast during the afternoon, but north and west, it'll probably stay snow, so up there we're looking for maybe 1 to 3 inches of snow. Along the coastal areas, a mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, maybe an inch or so of a slushy accumulation. This system moves through, but what we are watching, another storm that's going to get itself together in the Gulf Coast and work its way up the coast for the weekend, and that would be the 105th anniversary of the blizzard of 1888, so we're going to keep an eye on this one for you. For tonight, here's what we're looking for. Partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be dropping back into the mid-20s north and west, upper 20s to the low 30s along the coastal sections. For tomorrow morning, we're expecting variably cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid-20s to the mid-30s, and thickening clouds as the day progresses. Look for snow in the northern and western suburbs. Again, maybe 1 to 3 inches. Coastal areas, we expect a mix of rain, snow, and some sleet, and temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. And the extended outlook for you on Thursday, variably cloudy skies and 44 degrees. Friday, fair skies and 40, but then thickening clouds Friday night. Snow develops during the day. Saturday, a high of 32. Sunday, 30, and snow and windy. Still too early to tell you how much, but as I said, the irony is not being missed in the weather office about the 105th anniversary.
I thought you said 100th anniversary, and I thought the math was a bit peculiar.
1888.
Thank you so much. I should have known better.
No, I'm prone to make mistakes. That's why I'm a weatherman.
Thanks, Al. Well, a great one. Wayne Gretzky in town to play the Rangers. Len Berman's next with sports.
PC Graphics.
A good Wednesday morning. Welcome to AM Weather. I'm Wayne Winston.
And I'm Joan Von Ahn. Well, the storm system bringing some snow right now to the Midwest will be bringing snows to the northeastern part of the country, while we're keeping our eye on a storm developing in the southwest. Let's start out, though, as we always do, by taking a look at the location of the jet stream. The northern jet's bringing cool air in this clipper-like system across the northeastern part of the country. Southern jet will be adding fuel to the storm developing in the southwest, but it dips southward to the southern tip of Florida, keeping the south clear. We'll put this picture into motion. Major weather features are area of low pressure that brought some light snow to New England, this clipper-like system trekking across the Great Lakes. Down in the southwest, this developing storm will move across the south and towards the eastern seaboard. Could be some snows for the northeast over the weekend. Let's take a look, though, at what's been going on during the past 24 hours. And that area of low pressure brought some clouds and a mix of precipitation to Maine yesterday. We saw as much as 3 to 6 inches of snow did accumulate, but much of the snow this morning and during the past 24 hours has been falling from the plain states into the Midwest. As much as 6 inches of snow on the ground at Madison, Wisconsin. It had been falling at the rate of 1/2 to 1 inch per hour earlier. 3 to 6 inches across Minnesota from the Twin Cities roughly to around Eau Claire, Wisconsin. About 2 to 5 inches of snow on the ground now with this storm across portions of North Dakota. Gusty winds across the plain states and back across the Rockies. 50-mile-per-hour gusts through portions of North Dakota. Rapid City South Dakota reported wind gusts of 51 miles per hour, 68-mile-per-hour gusts at Buffalo, South Dakota, while Russell, Kansas has been reporting wind gusts as high as 43 miles per hour. Some light snow has fallen here and there across the Rocky Mountain region, gusts of 30 miles per hour at both Billings and Glasgow, gusts as high as 50 miles per hour in eastern Colorado, with some light snow reported at Steamboat Springs. Out in the west, some areas of cloudiness with a weak disturbance through the Intermountain region. We'll turn our attention now to a regional now that's centered across the upper Midwest. It is snowing right now over at Madison, Wisconsin, Green Bay. Snow being reported at Des Moines and also at Cedar Rapids in Iowa. And it is snowing also in the Chicago area, over at Detroit, to the south of Cleveland and down into the central portions of Ohio. We'll take a look now at what's going on across the rest of the country. And we find that area of snow continues to spiral around to the south and east, and we find tops right around 14,000 feet. Then the change over to rain and more spring-like weather, some thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley. Tops range from about 25 to as high as 30,000 feet. We'll move on now to this morning's current weather map, and we find one area of low pressure located in the upper Midwest, the other moving into the Midwest. And we find that the snow and the gusty winds continue during the morning hours. Wind gusts of 55 miles per hour at Sioux City, Iowa. Gusts of more than 30 miles per hour continue at this time from South Dakota, across Nebraska and into Minnesota. Now, snow is reducing the visibility down to about 3/4 of a mile at Appleton, Wisconsin, 1/2 mile at Lansing, Michigan, and 1 mile at Milwaukee and Muskegon. More than 4 inches of snow during the past several hours throughout portions of Wisconsin, and some slippery roads reported with the snow in the Red River Valley, along with wind gusts of 25 to 35 miles per hour. Across the south, this other area of low pressure is producing the showers and thunderstorms through the Tennessee Valley. Along the Gulf Coast, skies are clear, just some fog from southern portions of Alabama down through most of Florida. Out through the inner mountain region, patchy areas of fog, lowering visibilities. Visibility 1/8 mile at Ogden, Utah, 1 mile at Pocatello, Idaho. Area of fog in California as well. Visibility also down to 1 mile at Oceanside, California, with fog and drizzle lowering the visibility to 1/8 mile over at Redmond, Oregon. Now, the temperature extremes around the nation at 6 a.m. Eastern Time ranged from 5 degrees at Devils Lake, North Dakota, to 66 degrees at Corpus Christi, Texas. Wayne?
Well, now we'll begin looking ahead, see what we can expect in the way of weather over the next several days, and begin with our map for later on this Wednesday. Now, that low pressure area will continue moving
during the evening hours. Fortunately for most of us, we saw less than an inch of snow, and even what did fall did not stick to the road surfaces. Part of the reason is that March sun, it's getting stronger and stronger, pushed our high temperature today up to 40 degrees. That's after a low of 32. Precip about 3/10 of an inch of snow at Central Park. Some places 1 to 2 inches of snow, especially away from the city. The record high 71 degrees, record low is 12 degrees above zero. Right now, just cloudy skies. For the most part, the precip has ended, except out on Long Island, where they'll probably continue to see some wet snow. Currently 35 degrees, southeast winds at 7, barometric pressure is continuing to fall. All right, let's take a look at our radar picture. You can see that big area of precip that pushed through here, now lifting off to the northeast, up toward Poughkeepsie, actually past Poughkeepsie now, up into Worcester. I always want to say Worcester, Mass. And over toward Boston, this area could see 3 to 6 inches of snow. Notice the thunderstorms developing out at sea. That's going to stay away from us. I think for the most part, the precip is over for the rest of tonight. Now, on tomorrow's surface map, that storm system will still be affecting our weather. So after seeing 3 to 6 inches of snow to our north and an inch or less around here, I think we're going to get to see quite a bit of wind during the day tomorrow as we get on the backside of the storm system. That eventually will pull colder air our way, with temperatures tomorrow night getting down into the lower to mid-20s. This is the storm system we're going to have to watch. During the day Friday, it's going to head into the Gulf. Saturday, it's going to start to pull moisture our way, probably starting out as snow. And the one thing the system is definitely going to do is really kick up the winds and maybe cause some flooding. All right, our forecast then. Overnight, the rain, wet snow just about over. Low temperatures down into the lower 30s. Then during the day tomorrow, some sun, but very windy. Highs in the lower 40s. And then as we look ahead into the next 5 days, it gets stormy as we head into the weekend with plenty of rain and or snow later Saturday and into Sunday. So kind of a messy forecast as we head into the weekend. John?
All righty, thank you, sir. Carl is up next with sports.
Mr. October gets a big job in March when we come back.
Winds at this hour are out of the east at 7, relative humidity at 85%, and the barometer 29, 69 and falling. And on the satellite picture, you will see that basically what we've got now, low pressure scooting down to our south. That's moving away. That's good news. Here's what's going on. Here's what happened this evening. Low pressure system over Pennsylvania. Rain along the coast, snow north and west. Not a big deal. System starts to move away. Winds start to come in from the northwest. That's going to be colder, drier air. So after maybe some clouds and maybe a snow flurry or two tomorrow morning, we look to see some clearing and a decent amount of sunshine, although chillier conditions. But that cold air is going to set the stage for what could be a major storm over the weekend. Here's what we see as far as the storm track is concerned. Starting 7 a.m., the storm gets itself together down in the Gulf Coast. By 7 a.m. Saturday, it is around the Carolinas. By 7 p.m. Saturday evening, it is down over the Virginia-Carolina coast and then continues up the coast, possibly dumping quite a bit of snow. If it keeps on this track, we are in for some problems. But again, it is still a ways away, so we'll have to just keep an eye on it. But it poses the potential for some big problems. Forecast for tonight, the snow ends, so does the showers along the coast. Overnight lows will drop back mid-20s to the low 30s. And then the extended outlook for you shaping up like this. After the flurries end tomorrow morning, we look for variably to partly cloudy skies. Temperature is about 43 degrees. Friday, not too bad, partly sunny, 39, about 7 degrees below normal. Then on Saturday, here's where the fun begins. It's going to be windy. Right now, best guesstimate is sometime after 12 noon. We look for rain and snow changing over to snow, because here's the problem. Look at those temperatures at freezing, and by Sunday below freezing, and more snow on Sunday. And then on Monday, we're expecting partly sunny skies, a chance to dig out, and a temperature of 38 degrees. Again, we'll keep you posted. Joe Whitty will have the latest tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
All right, Al, thank you.
It's the East Coast versus the left coast. No, it's the East, yes, the East versus the left coast. So anyway, the
Drying up. What you've got on the ground right now, including Spark Hill, about an inch, Nyack about half an inch, Connecticut coastline about an inch, seems to be just about all you're going to get tonight. 32 degrees early in the morning, 32 to 33 out toward the island, 23 to 25 inland numbers. Should be a little sunshine trying to crack the clouds early in the morning. Not expecting a whole lot out there yet, though. It will mix in tomorrow afternoon, certainly 44 degrees. Now let's talk about the system that we're concerned about for the weekend. By Friday morning, we expect a low to be developing in the Gulf. There are two basic paths that a low in that area could take. One of them offshore. If it goes offshore, computer models are saying this could be one of the worst nor'easters we've seen since 1984. But if it takes the inland path, it could just be a little snow turning over to rain and just a windy, cold weekend for us. We should know a little bit more by tomorrow which of these two paths this thing is going to take. Either way, we've got a system heading in our direction for the weekend, and we're hoping for the best. AccuWeather forecast looks like this for the immediate term anyway. 7 o'clock in the morning, 32 degrees, mostly cloudy and a little windy out there. AccuWeather says for the rest of the day, 44 degrees, clouds and sun. It stays windy all day long from 15 to 20 miles per hour generally from the northwest, and that sets in some cooler air. Friday, 40 degrees. Cooler air is certainly in place for the weekend, and we're hoping that storm takes the western path and not the eastern path. We'll check it tomorrow.
Very much
Thanks,
so.
Sam, very much.
Thank you. Well, that's the news for tonight.
For Diana Williams, Sam Champion, Scott Clark, all of
Excellence in PC graphics.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to AM Weather. I'm Joan Von Ahn.
And good morning. I'm Barry Goldsmith. While spring continued in the southeast, cold Arctic air was plunging southward across the northern plains, and that air will move into the east, bringing a reinforcing shot of winter. Taking a look at this morning's jet stream, we can see where this will come from. A ridge is building across the Pacific Northwest this morning. Further southeast, however, it's dropping a trough with very anomalously low heights, which are producing quite a bit of cold air in the eastern part of the country. Putting these clouds into motion, we can see the storms move from west to east. A big storm north of the Hawaiian Islands is causing the ridge to bump up in the west. An Alberta Clipper continued in the east, and a developing storm is forming across the Gulf states and the Great Plains. A look at the lower 48 shows basically the Alberta Clipper is the main feature on the map as it moves eastward. But better conditions occurred across the western states. California had a beautiful day, temperatures in the 70s and 80s there. A little bit of light rain early in the day across the Pacific Northwest yesterday. Some light snow showers occurred across portions of the Rockies. The cold Arctic air began to plunge into the northern plains. Temperatures at Grand Forks, North Dakota were 14 degrees with wind chills well below zero. The air also made it down into Texas and the eastern plains of the Rockies, with temperatures falling 20 degrees from the previous day. But the big story was in the northeastern United States yesterday, where quite a bit of snow fell in certain parts of the area as an Alberta Clipper raced eastward out of the upper plains and right on off the Atlantic coast. Snowfall amounts ranged from 6 inches at Grand Rapids, Michigan, to 4 inches in Detroit, a powdery snow there. Further south, general 2 to 4 amounts occurred across portions of Indiana and Ohio. Snow even made it down into the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, with an inch falling at Dulles International Airport, and 1 to 3 inch amounts were common across portions of New England, where it continues to snow now. On the backside of this, lake effect snow is now winding up and is hitting the Pennsylvania mountains. We can see this further on the National Radar Summary. See the lake effect snow bands occurring across portions of Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and around this clipper we have snow continuing around Boston and Portland, Maine. Tops around Boston are at 10,000 feet. Tops in the lake effect areas are 11,000 feet. Some heavier showers and thunderstorms are now developing in this Gulf moisture around eastern Texas. Tops there at 36,000 feet. And again, along with the upper level disturbance, which is helping to produce these storms, we have tops in the Rocky Mountain states around Denver at 20,000 feet. Turning to our national map this morning, shows us the Alberta Clipper system, which has spawned a low off the Atlantic coast near New England. We have quite a bit of backlash moisture occurring with the lake effect snow, but some fog is to the east of that. More intense fog is occurring across southern Texas. We have visibilities down at 3/8 of a mile in Corpus Christi, and some lighter rains to the north of that with some embedded showers and thunderstorms. High pressure, or Arctic high pressure, is making its move on the northern plains, again with the low temperatures there. A little bit of fog across the northern sections of California as well. Current temperatures this morning around the nation range from -12 at Devil's Lake, North Dakota, to 68 degrees at Brownsville, Corpus Christi, and McAllen, Texas. Joan?
Barry's given us the details of the past and current weather, so let's get right into the forecast segment of our program. We'll start out with the map for this Thursday evening. By this evening, another cold front will push through the northeast. It'll
I'm going to start to talk amounts this far ahead of time, but let's just say there could be several inches of snow by Saturday evening. Today wasn't a bad day. We had a nice day, matter of fact. We got to see at least partial sunshine. A little bit windy out there with a high of 41. The low was 32. The record high is 73 degrees, record low 14 degrees. Right now outside we have clear skies, and we're as chilly as we've been all day, down to 32 degrees. West winds at 15, putting a little bit of a bite in the air. We have a wind chill factor of 12 above. Satellite view shows the system just getting going over sections of Texas. Really not an organized system yet, but we see these big white clouds blossoming here. Those are heavy-duty thunderstorms, signs of the storm just getting going right now. Back to the northwest, snow in Denver, snow spreading into western Oklahoma, and the system is just developing. It is going to be a whopper of a storm by the time it hits us. I think the most likely period will be from midday Saturday up until early Sunday. Now, there's some conflicting computer guidance we're trying to decipher right now. The biggest problem is I think some of the computers is getting some false feedback. What that means is the computer is having some trouble. So we're a little uncertain about the exact track of the storm. Tomorrow we'll be sitting down into the Gulf. Places like Knoxville, Tennessee could see a lot of snow. Charleston, West Virginia. This high pressure system should give us at least partial sunshine tomorrow. Then the storm system will start to head our way. Now there's two possible scenarios. Powerhouse storm right here. Heavy snow back to our west. This is scenario number one. We'll see snow changing over to sleet, freezing rain, and rain. Now if the storm system stays a little bit farther out to sea, well then we would see predominantly snow, maybe all snow, and that's when we could really have a mess on our hands. Right now, I'd lean a little bit more towards scenario number one. Forecast for tonight, no problems, but cold. Low temperatures down into the low to mid-20s. During the day tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds. Still a chilly day with highs of 35 to 40 degrees, but not nearly as windy. And that's when things start to get interesting. The big storm moves in here on Saturday and lingers into Sunday before we dry out for Monday and Tuesday. So a big storm. We'll keep you up to date as we head through the weekend. As the storm system gets closer, we'll have a better idea. John?
Don't you have a scenario number 3?
Well, we always have a scenario.
Nice and sunny
number 3
and beautiful.
means that we totally blew it.
Warm. And, okay.
Scenario
I'll
number
take
3
3.
is Miami.
All right, thanks, Phil.
Sure.
Millions of Americans.
And 24 hours ago, instability, cloudiness with cold air moving through the northeast. Here is the storm system and all of the energy gathering over the south here. Watch this coalesce now. As you will see, that storm coming into Texas and Oklahoma now, and we're going to freeze that for a second, and let me show you. There it is, sitting right down here. And now this system is going to start to take off. But let me show you a closer view in tonight of what our weather looks like, and here is another new computerized satellite perspective. You should be able to see that as we check it out. Here is the northeastern United States, and look, we can get the depth of clouds on this satellite animation. You see them? Here, we're nice and clear right now. Earlier today, these fair weather clouds were rolling through the northeastern part of the country. Here we are, little old New York. High clouds coming through, and bingo, there they are. And you can see the depth of the cloud cover here. A little heavier snow shower activity up in New England. You gotta love this. I do. Anyway, I'm high on this. That's how I get high. What can I tell you? The man's out of his mind. Anyway, look, tomorrow, it's going to be sunny. I want you to know, because we're going to have stormy weather this weekend, but tomorrow's going to be a good day. Friday's going to be fine. Sunny, brisk, breezy, cold, high pressure rolling in. Here is the storm brewing down in Texas. That's for tomorrow morning. Now look at what we can do with this system. We can put these highs and lows in motion for you. Here's what's going to happen between tomorrow morning and Saturday morning.
Wow.
Look at this stuff. Are you ready for this, huh? Sure you are. High pressure will then be over us, cold air here. The storm brings up moisture from the south, rain and snow down in the southeast, heavier snow comes up the coast towards us. And folks, this low pressure system is going to get so wound up here by Friday night and Saturday, we could be talking about winds close to hurricane force. That means that there'll be coastal inundation, a lot of flooding out here if this baby rolls up the coast. Heavy snow inland, a mixture of rain and snow right along the coast so that the snow accumulations will be lower on Long Island and in the city. But inland, there is a possibility of a foot of snow. I got to tell you, I'm not doing that to scare you. I'm doing it to give you a clue in that this storm is going to be a bad baby on Saturday. So here we go. You can see the systems lining up. Good day tomorrow, but then that storm comes up from the south. If you're traveling tomorrow, well, out in Chicago, it'll be snowing already, 29. Down in Atlanta tomorrow, some clouds gathering and some showers developing. It'll be rain in Dallas-Fort Worth, snow out in Denver, and nice weather on the West Coast. Anybody going to the West Coast tomorrow or Saturday? I think I know someone. But anyway, that's going to be nice out there and mild. So that's where you might want to be heading if you were going to do that. Now, tomorrow's forecast here. Highs 38 to 43. Look, a lot of sunshine. And the sun is even blinking at you. You see that? We got this guy going here. Cold and dry, good day. And here is the 5-day forecast. And we'll put this in motion for you, too, so you get the feeling of what's going to happen. Here they come. Nice tomorrow and 42. A lot of snow on Saturday with very strong winds, 34 to 31 degrees over the weekend, with snow gradually tapering off and ending on Sunday. It looks like a rough deal, but we're going to be right here at Channel 11's Weather Center with all this new computerized stuff to track the storm tomorrow night.
Having entirely too much fun. Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
When we come back, Jerry, with the kickoff of the Big East Tournament.
And from flea market to auction house and big, big bucks. We'll tell you.
Storm over the weekend. Let's check it out for you. Starting off with tonight, Jason Morgese and Mr. Jim Corrigan getting our video for us. 31 degrees, that's the new low for the day. A clear sky out there. Calm before the storm. Winds out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Relative humidity 43%, and the barometer is on the rise. And the U.S. satellite shows clear skies over our area, over the northeast, but down here around Texas, we've got a lot of white puffy clouds starting to form. Big thunderstorms firing up. That's where a low pressure system is getting itself together. Here's the way we see this track of this storm. 7 a.m. Friday in the Gulf of Mexico. By 7 a.m. Saturday, it's in Georgia, but will already have started spreading snow into our area. Now, if it takes this track, by 7 a.m. Sunday, it's off the Long Island coast. Here's what we look for. Heavy snow throughout the entire area, except right along the coast, where it'll be a mix of rain and snow, eventually changing over to rain, but still maybe enough to cause some major accumulations. 30 to 60 mile per hour winds, hurricane force gusts, which means over 75 miles per hour, and a lot of coastal flooding and beach erosion. Now, if the storm moves a little further to the west, that'll mean more rain along the coast, but still north and west will get quite a bit of heavy snow. So we just have to keep an eye on this storm because it has not yet formed. But if it does, this is what we're calling for. For tonight, clear skies, mid-teens north and west, mid-20s along the coastal areas. Then for tomorrow, we're looking for partly sunny skies, 39 degrees, thickening clouds Friday night. Snow develops early Saturday morning, becoming windy. Again, maybe some rain and sleet along the coast, depending on the track of the storm. But then Sunday, once the storm pulls away, colder air starts to work its way in. Look at that on Sunday, a high of only 22 degrees with very snowy conditions. Monday, fair skies, 32. Tuesday, variably cloudy, 39 degrees. And checking with the National Weather Service offices up and down the eastern seaboard, they're all warning that to keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on it. And if you have travel plans, you better put them on hold right now.
All right, Al. Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Well, spills, thrills, and chills, all part of spanning the world. And
Looking mostly clear skies. That's expected to carry on through the night and well into tomorrow. Start out the morning with a good amount of sunshine. But here's a large area of disorganized weather just off to the west of us. Yep, it looks like it's going to be a problem expected to form into an area of low pressure just south of the Gulf by early on Friday morning. Now, to prepare you for this, here's our top 5 snowstorms over as long as we've been keeping record. 26.4 inches from December in 1947. This is a big storm that a lot of people talk about when they talk about big snow around the eastern seaboard, and that's the 1888 snow. That was 20.9 inches March 12th in 1988. And again, it's not too far off the date in March that we're expecting to see some snow in our area. So here, knowing that, this is an early projection of a storm that has not formed yet. So with that said, we expect by 6 o'clock right in the 6 o'clock Friday evening in the Gulf, this low pulls down some cold air, makes a quick move toward the coastline, and then zips in our direction, expecting that we could see some heavy gusty winds up to 75 miles per hour from this system on Saturday, also some snow. Now, following this projected path, this is where the heaviest snowfall would be. Take it all the way from West Virginia up through Pennsylvania, western New York State, and all the way up toward Maine. We find ourselves likely at this point in the moderate snowfall category. Too early to give you totals on this one. As a matter of fact, this is an early projection for this system and likely will modify it over the next 24 hours. But we wanted you to know what we know just so you can make your plans. 26 degrees early in the morning. That's the cool number. 22 to 24 out toward the island. Inland numbers from 14 to 15 degrees. Yes, it's chilly in the morning, and it stays that way all weekend long. You might say this is the calm before the storm tomorrow at 36 degrees with high pressure barely holding those clouds off. But by later on in the afternoon, you'll know it's there. 26 degrees, mostly sunny and cold tomorrow. AccuWeather says the rest of the day follows suit. 36 for a high. That's much colder than normal. Early sunshine turns to late clouds as this storm gets closer and closer to us. By Saturday, we're being pounded with coastal winds at up to 75 miles per hour, and likely some areas will see some heavy snow from this. 34 degrees. Sunday, very cold and windy. Wind chills below zero Sunday into Monday.
This sounds like one of your legendary weather events, Sam.
We hope not, but probably.
Could be. Okay, thank you, Sam. That's the news for tonight.
For Diana Williams, Sam Champion, Scott Clark, and all of us at Eyewitness News, I'm Bill Butler.
WSI, provider of real-time information services and innovative products for the analysis and forecasting of weather information. And Number 9 Computer Corporation, a leading manufacturer of state-of-the-art graphics boards, excellence in PC graphics.
Good morning and welcome to this Friday edition of AM Weather. I'm Wayne Winston.
And I'm Joan Von Ahn. Well, low pressure moving away from the northeast coast, but a developing storm promises to bring perhaps a record-breaking storm to the eastern part of the country. Let's start out, though, as we always do. We'll take a look at the location of the jet stream and see how it's affecting our weather across the country. One jet comes out of Canada, bringing some cold air into the Great Lakes and the northeast. Another jet comes out of the Pacific, a strong ridge of high pressure out in the western part of the country, then it dips southward. Another jet into Baja California. We'll take a look now at this picture in motion, and there's the area of low pressure that moved out into the open waters of the Atlantic. It brought some snow, though, before it did across portions of the northeast. There's the developing storm that we're keeping our eye on that'll strengthen as it moves across the Gulf Coast and the northward along the Atlantic coast. Some high-level clouds along the Pacific coast. Now, we'll take a closer look at what's going on across the country, and during the past 24 hours, we still saw some light snow through portions of the Ohio Valley, lower Great Lakes, and into New England. Portland, Maine reported 2 inches of new snow during the afternoon hours, and the total accumulation from that area of low pressure with the storm up to about 10 inches. Afternoon highs were seasonable 30s and 40s across the northeast, 50s and 60s to the southeast, and 80s across portions of southern Florida. Now, an upper-level disturbance across the southern plains and New Mexico brought some severe weather to Texas and New Mexico. Thunderstorms during the afternoon hours had 63-mile-per-hour wind gusts at Las Cruces, and some strong thunderstorms produced some hail across parts of South and East Texas. Thunderstorms and rain also brought some rain into the central Gulf states. Saw rainfall amounts generally about 1/4 to 1/2 inch across portions of Mississippi and Louisiana. Now, in the colder air, we did see snow here and there across the Rockies and into the Plain States. Amounts were generally light, though, about 2 inches through parts of Colorado, 3 inches at Lander, Wyoming. Saw some showers around Utah. About 1/2 inch was picked up at both Logan and Trenton. Now, we'll turn our attention to this morning's regional NOWRAD, and it is centered across the Texas area and the lower Mississippi Valley. You find some thunderstorms reported at Austin, Corpus Christi, and Victoria, and some showers in San Antonio, while Houston's only reporting some light drizzle, even some snow in Louisiana in the Shreveport area. We'll turn our attention now to what's going on across the rest of the country, and we find that area of showers and thunderstorms moving off to the south and east into the central Gulf states. Highest tops with these about 53,000 feet. Some areas of light snow across the Plain States. Snow is falling at Denver, also at Dodge City. Some light snow also across the Midwest and into the eastern lakes. It's snowing right now at Detroit, Cleveland, Dayton, and Pittsburgh, and tops there range from about 2,000 to 4,000 feet. We'll move on now to this morning's current weather map, and the weather is pretty tranquil in the east. The calm before the storm, to some light snow across the Canadian Maritimes as that area of low pressure continues to move away from the coast. But across the south, we saw the showers, thunderstorms on radar. Gusty winds, 37-mile-per-hour winds reported with thunderstorms at Alice, Texas, and at Corpus Christi. Gusts of more than 30 miles per hour also at Houston and San Angelo. Visibility is low as well, 1.5 miles in rain and fog at Alexandria, Louisiana, 1.5 miles in snow, sleet, and fog at Shreveport. And then 1.5 miles also in snow at Dalhart, Texas, 1.25 miles in snow at Dodge City, Kansas, and over Denver, Colorado. Out in the western part of the country, weather's tranquil, high pressure at the surface over the northern Rockies, fog through western California, visibility down to 1¼ miles at Arcata, and wind gusts to 31 miles per hour earlier this morning were reported at Portland, Oregon. And the temperature extremes around the nation at 6 a.m. Eastern Time range from 17 degrees below zero at both Marquette, Michigan and Yellowstone Park, Wyoming, to 71 degrees at Brownsville, Texas. Wayne?
Well, now we'll look at all the details on the upcoming weekend. We've been with the map for later on this Friday, and we see that storm system continuing to develop down along the Gulf Coast near the mouth of the Mississippi River, bringing in a lot of moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico, so there will be quite a bit of rain, shower, and thunderstorm activity here across Dixie and back into southeastern Texas. But the cold air is already in place, so we also have a band of snow here from parts of north-central Texas, across northern Mississippi, Alabama, and up into the mountains of the Carolinas. And some of that moisture is starting to streak out and produce just some very light snow as you get up into southwestern Virginia. Some more cold air behind this other front here through the north-central states, the upper Midwest. There will be a little bit of scattered light snow here from the upper lakes and northward along the front. Generally fair weather from the high plains and on westward. Now, as we look at the map for tomorrow, that low pressure area strengthens quite a bit. This will be quite a storm as it moves up the eastern seaboard. Its exact path will determine just where that rain-snow line is, but there will be some heavy snow certainly through the central Appalachians and spreading northward into parts of southern New England during the day tomorrow, with rain right along the coast and lighter snow back over the upper lakes. Cold high pressure will be found through the central part of the country, a little wave dropping southeastward out of Canada, a few flurries there, a front just off the northwest coast, bringing a bit of rain into northern California and the Oregon coast. Now, by Sunday, this very intense storm will be located up in the Canadian Maritimes, still producing very heavy snow up there and into northern parts of New England, along with a lot of wind continuing in its wake over the northeastern quarter of the country and snow showers around the Great Lakes. Colder, but dry over the southeastern part of the country. Perhaps a few flurries with this little wave of low pressure near Kansas City. That won't amount to much as things start to warm up in the high plains with some downslope winds off the Rockies. That Pacific front will bring some rain from northern California on northward through the interior of the Northwest. Some snow up in British Columbia and the Washington Cascades. By Monday, most of the eastern half of the country, at least east of the Mississippi River, is pretty good. Warm air, Gulf moisture starting to return, more like a spring-like pattern with some showers and thunderstorms in the southern plains. Out west, that Pacific front weakens, does produce some scattered light precipitation, with snow confined to the very highest elevations. Well, temperatures for today, as we said, the cold air is already...
What's going on outside right now? 38 degrees, calm weather outside our doors, 39% relative humidity. Barometer is even on the rise as a small area of high pressure is still with us right now. West winds at gently 5 miles per hour. 71 would have been a record for us. We had problems staying around 40 degrees with some cold air already in place for this system. What do we do when we're watching a storm that strong head in our direction? Well, we have to take it seriously and say that we think we're going to have to deal with it. Secure loose objects outside. Again, we're talking about winds near 80 miles per hour. Some of us will get a hit of about 100-mile-per-hour winds. Tie everything down that you think could become an object or a missile when it's picked up by winds like that. Stock up on food. Likely you're going to lose some power, so store some water, find flashlights and batteries, and don't travel at all on Saturday. Stay indoors. You have travel plans, make sure you get them out of the way Saturday or Sunday. Here's a look at where we think this storm is going to travel. It is going to move well to the west of us as far as the snowfall goes, anywhere from West Virginia all the way to western New York State. The heaviest hit of snow up to 2 feet of snow. Right now, we're saying likely we could see, well, possibly 10 inches to a foot in town before the changeover occurs to rain. Rain, we think, is going to happen at about 6 o'clock in the evening. It's mostly snow for us during the day, but for a while it will shift over to a little ice and a little rain. Mostly snow in areas inland, and again, we're talking about 2 feet of snow in that case. What about our coastal areas? Well, the snow starts around 5 o'clock in the morning, and again, we're talking about that type of tallies. I mean, anywhere from 6, 12 inches of snow around the area, higher and mounts inland. But for our coastline areas, rough going for every inch of our shoreline. New Jersey shore, south shore of Long Island, again, 4 to 5 feet above normal. Waves on the waters will be up to 20 feet. Dangerous storm, heavy wind and snow begins tomorrow about 5 o'clock in the morning. The worst part of this storm is from 1 till 10 p.m. at night. 36 degrees is the high number. Things get better for us, Bill, after that on Sunday.
Okay, Sam, thank you very much. We will, of course, continue our storm watch tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. What is being called the mother of all storms is already dumping snow in the south. Places like Birmingham, Alabama could get up to 10 inches of it. Here in the metropolitan area and beyond, preparations are well underway for the Island. and it's very much the same scene along the Jersey Shore, where up to a foot of snow is expected. We'll have a complete report on the storm tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. See you then.
7 years went into it.
That is going to rip through our city and pound the beaches. We've got team coverage from the city to Westchester to Long Island to New Jersey. But first, let's check with Phil in our weather center. He's been tracking this storm. It is building steam in the Gulf of Mexico and headed our way. Phil.
Yeah, John, it still is a very long distance away from us, but the actual snow will start as early as first thing tomorrow morning. The biggest problem might be the winds. We could see winds gusting to 60 to 70 miles per hour, even higher in some of the coastal areas where there could be wind gusts maybe to 90, 95 miles per hour. Around here we have a blizzard warning currently in effect. You can see that does cover the entire area. Blizzard warning in effect, that goes in effect for tomorrow. Farther south, central and southern New Jersey, that's where there's a winter storm warning in effect. Difference is they're going to see a real mix of precip. Matter of fact, I think our snow is eventually going to change over to rain, but that probably won't happen until sometime tomorrow evening. The farther north and west you go, the heavier the snow is going to be. And again, coastal flood warnings are in effect for tomorrow. The flooding with this storm could be every bit as bad, if not worse, than the storm back on December 11th. John?
I'll take it. Thanks very much, Phil. And as we told you, this could be the worst storm to hit our area in 100 years. And people are not taking any chances, including the city's sanitation department. Our team coverage begins with Amy Atkins, who's been around the city today, where the salt spreaders are ready to go.
A sun-drenched afternoon sky gave little hint of impending storm. That was left to forecasters who predicted no less than the storm of the century, or at the very least...
This will certainly be the biggest storm of the year, it looks like, unless the forecasters are wrong and it turns into rain, but it doesn't look that way because we're getting close to tomorrow morning and they're still saying major snow.
That means 11...
is the storm system is already stronger than it was expected to be by this time. Now that's not all bad news, because as it strengthens, it's also going to pull some of that warm air out in from the ocean. So I think the changeover time tomorrow will probably be by about mid-afternoon. By that time, we'll probably see at least a half a foot of snow. Today, certainly no complaints. We had quite a bit of sunshine. That warmed things up to 42 degrees. That's after a low of 29, record 71 and 8. Satellite view really shows the system as it's spinning away over sections of the Gulf. We'll look at that in just a minute. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm so excited about this storm. It is. It's exciting. You don't see this very often. Right now, 36 degrees. Winds have shifted to the southeast at 7. Barometric pressure is holding steady. Now for that very exciting satellite view of the storm system. You can see it right down here spinning away. Tornado watches in effect for much of Florida. This is a real powerhouse of a storm. You can see the clouds all the way up into Pennsylvania, spreading into our area. Snow as far south as northern Louisiana. Jackson, Mississippi saw some snow today, and this storm system is going to do nothing but strengthen as it makes the turn and goes up the coast. Fortunately, it looks like that storm is going to go just to our west. That will allow some warmer air to get in here, and I think the snow will change over to rain. But as I said, not before we see, we'll see we're right on the line here between the 8 to 14 inches and the 4 to 8. I think most areas will see 4 to 8 inches of snow. But you get a little bit farther inland, most of northwest New Jersey will see over 14 inches of snow, or at least over 8 inches, up to 14 inches of snow. And then you get back here in Pennsylvania, and even the extreme northwest corner of New Jersey, there could be over 2 feet of snow. This is just a real powerhouse of a storm. Tomorrow it moves into the Chesapeake Bay by late in the day. That's when the snow and the thunder and the lightning should begin to change over to rain, I'd say by about 2, 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Forecast then for the overnight period. Cloudy skies, maybe some snow toward daybreak. Most of the night should be dry, lows in the mid to upper 20s. Then for the day tomorrow, snow. We have coastal flood warnings in effect, blizzard warning in effect. Accumulations 8 to 14 inches, as I said, most places will be closer to that 8-inch amount, with highs getting above freezing late in the day and very gusty winds. Then the 5-day outlook, you can see it's going to stay winter-like, with temperatures staying well below average right as we head into next week. So a lot of flooding possible with this storm. It is a very dangerous storm, and we'll certainly keep you up to date as the system gets closer and closer to our area. John?
All right, thanks, Phil. I want to apologize to you. We were going to show you a Fox Style News report on it.
You can see all the snow over the northeastern part of the country. That's basically what we're looking for. And here is the forecast in specifics. The blizzard warnings are in effect tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the 30s. And our 5-day forecast, we wind it up with the blizzard for the weekend. There it goes. Saturday and Sunday, lots of snow, tapering off to snow showers and flurries on Sunday. And Monday and Tuesday, when we're all shoveling and plowing, it'll be sunny, but it will still be very chilly. Hang in there, folks. This too will pass.
Nice to remember. Thanks, Bob.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's swell. Still ahead, Jerry Gerard has the Big East Tournament, among other things in sports.
And a couple of weeks ago, they were trapped. Coastal flooding, power blackouts, and cities smothered with snow. Al Roker's in our weather center with the latest on when the storm should hit. Al?
Okay, thanks a lot, Sue. And we're looking for the snow to start between 3 and 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Check out the satellite picture, and you'll see a powerful storm getting itself together through the Gulf Coast. They have tornado watches out for Florida, heavy snows throughout the south. Here's what we think of the track of the storm. It's going to start working its way up the coast. That's one possibility, and it would move a little to our west, and that would mean less snow. However, we think it's going to take more of an easterly track, and that means less of a mix of snow and rain along the coastal sections and heavier snow north and west of the city. So blizzard warnings are in effect for our area. By 7 o'clock tomorrow, we're looking for 10 to 15 inches of snow north and west of the city, 8 to 12 inches of snow here in town, central New Jersey and western Long Island, 6 to 10 inches in eastern Long Island and Connecticut and southern New Jersey, plus coastal flood warnings are in effect because of high tides. Winds tomorrow could be gusting over 75 miles per hour. We'll have more details for you a little bit later. Sue and Matt?
All right, Al, thank you.
Thanks. The coastal areas are preparing for the worst tonight. Much of the shoreline remains battered and eroded from the December effect for the metropolitan area, and coastal flood warnings in effect for tomorrow and tomorrow night. A very deep low-pressure area has been developing during the day, and on the radar summary, it is wrapped up extremely tight. You can see embedded thunderstorms in this system moving into western Florida. The snow out ahead of the system already stretching into parts of Washington, D.C., touching southern Jersey. Accumulations could be very heavy. Again, blizzard warnings in effect. Coastal flood warnings in effect for tomorrow. Accumulations look like 6 to 8 inches in the metropolitan area and as much as 18 inches west and north of the city. Details and a lot more on this storm coming up later in the broadcast. Brenda.
Thanks, George. A partial verdict tonight in the Glen Ridge sex assault trial. Jurors have decided...
Quiet night outside, clear skies to partly cloudy, folks out on the ice skating rink. Current temperature at 11 o'clock, 36 degrees and a cloudy sky. Winds at this hour out of the southeast at 6, relative humidity at 70%, and the barometer is falling. And as you check out the satellite view, well, take a look. We start off with clear skies earlier today. 24 hours later, bang, we have clouds on top of us, and the storm system that's causing all the trouble is still down in the Gulf, triggering tornado watches in parts of Florida, and they've got heavy snows through the south. Now, it's already started to snow in other parts close by. Here's how we see the storm track. Can't even really see the storm yet, but the snow starts in our area about 3 to 5 a.m. with northeasterly winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour. But by noon, heavy snow as the storm works its way up the coast, northeasterly winds 15 to 35 miles per hour, and then by 7 o'clock, we're in the midst of a brutal storm. Winds of northeasterly direction 40 to 75 mile per hour with higher gusts. Along the coast, a mix of rain and snow, we think, and north and west, heavy snow, and this is what we have. A blizzard warning in effect for tomorrow and tomorrow night. Accumulations right now, the way we see them, 8 to 12 inches here in town, western Long Island, central New Jersey, and coastal Connecticut. Eastern Long Island, 6 to 10 inches, ditto for northeastern, I should say eastern Connecticut, and central and southern New Jersey, and then north and west of the city, northwestern New Jersey, Rockland, Westchester, Dutchess, Putnam, Orange, and Sullivan counties, 10 to 15 inches of snow by 7 in the evening. Now, as far as high tides are concerned, you can see they start around 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, go till 3:15. Coastal flood warnings in effect, tides 4 to 6 feet above normal. Those strong northeasterly winds will probably cause massive beach erosion. The folks who got hit from that storm, the 3 nor'easters we've had already, are sitting ducks right now. And for Sunday, it is not over yet. As the storm moves away, cold air gets pulled in. Temperatures will be falling into the 20s. Overnight temperatures by Sunday night into the teens. Snow squalls with hurricane force winds. The total accumulations by Sunday night, 15 to 25 inches north and west, 10 to 18 inches here in town, central New Jersey and parts of Long Island, 6 to 12 inches the eastern end of Long Island, Connecticut, and central and southern New Jersey. Of course, we'll be here all night monitoring the situation, and we'll be back tomorrow morning during Today in New York and Weekend Today to bring you the latest information. I'm Al Roker, live in the News 4 Weather Center. Matt and Sue?
All right, Al, thank you. Might be tempted to call this weather March Madness, but for actual college basketball fans, that phrase has a whole other meaning.
Len is next with the Big East.
Is not really accustomed to it. Alabama all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, getting, that horizontal snow, which shows you gusty, strong winds and heavy snowfall in that direction. That's the same type of thing you're going to be faced with tomorrow, and that's why these warnings are out. Blizzard warning means whiteout conditions like that likely, and winds anywhere from 30 to 80 miles per hour and heavy falling snow. Best that you make your plans to stay indoors Saturday for the entire area. Also, a coastal flood warning in effect as this storm comes up. It's going to be pushing an awful lot of extra water onto our coastline. Coastlines are unprotected. Expect some coastal damage from this situation. 4 to 6 feet above normal are the tides. Heavy water standing there regularly. 35 degrees outside right now. Relative humidity at 70%. The barometer is steady, but watch it fall later tonight and drop to very low levels as an intense area of low pressure is the reason for this storm. Southeastern winds now at 7 miles per hour, but they will be up to 30, 80. Not unlikely that some of us will see 100 mile per hour wind hits with this thing as it moves through tomorrow afternoon. So here's what we're looking satellite picture. You can just see the enormity of this system. It is just sitting down there. Area of low pressure still just off the Florida Panhandle. Clouds extend all the way up in our direction. Snow extends all the way up into northern Pennsylvania, all the way up the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains as well. So heavy hits. Also tornado watches out for Florida at this point, and likely there will be several tornadoes to talk about in North Florida. It's just that rough of a storm. So here's a look at the snow path as this thing starts moving north tomorrow. And again, we expect it to just step off the coastline in Georgia at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Already snow will be in our area. 12 to 24 inches of snow outside of town. We're right on the borderline where we expect to see up to a foot of snow before it changes over. Mostly snow north and west of the city where numbers really don't approach the freezing mark. By 6 o'clock in the evening, we're hoping we will, just to lower some of those totals and change that snow to a little ice, maybe a little rain, make those snowfall totals a little lower than the 12 inches that we just might see around the area. Tides are a big problem tomorrow, but shorelines are all vulnerable to this. We've seen so many of these storms. Jersey shoreline particularly hard hit, also the South Shore. Likely the tides will be 4 to 5. We're going 6 feet above normal now. Winds up to 80 mile per hour gusts. Waves on the Sound 10 to 15 feet high. In the ocean 20 to 30 feet high. This is one powerful storm. Tides start being rough tomorrow morning, but the worst tide for us could be Sunday morning. So you've got to stay on that situation all weekend long. You know we'll be here. 26 degrees, snow falling, cold and breezy. AccuWeather says that's the way it is at 7 in the morning. But by afternoon, 1 to 10 o'clock at night, the worst hit of this storm, dangerous storm, heavy wind and snow. AccuWeather 5-day plan shows this one moves in and moves out. If there's anything about it that's okay, it's that, the speed with which it travels.
It's going to be in and out fast.
Okay, and Eyewitness News will be on the air all day with full coverage of it.
Absolutely.
That's all of it. Good night.
Good night.
The utility crews, and we are too.